All right, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Still a few more people signing up. Welcome to another Easy Home Search Winning Wednesday. I'm really excited about today's guest, Nick McLean. I've had the pleasure of seeing you speak a few times at John Cheplack Masterminds, and I've always come away with something new in my toolbox. Author of The $1 Million Agent, founder of the Reside platform. Really appreciate you taking some time out to share some wisdom with our network and our group. So with that, Nick, I'll kind of hand that off to you. Guys, feel free to put questions in the comments and all that kind of stuff, and we'll let Nick kind of run through how to win sellers in today's environment.
Awesome, Travis. It's an honor and a privilege to share what I know about getting leads to turn into listings. And I thought about lead generation and I thought about lead conversion, distribution, and fundamentally, I figured out why I do certain things. And I kind of given you the answer here, but I want to pose a question to everyone here. Why do we buy buyer leads? Why do we buy, purchase? And whether you buy them or you generate them, you're buying them because you're buying traffic. Why do we buy? What is the goal? What's the purpose? Why do we get buyer leads? This will fundamentally change the way you look at your business. And you can put it in the chat bar. Do they have access to the chat bar?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, let's just use your brain here, and I'm going to use your brain. And for the agents on here, you have to understand this, and for the team leaders and broker owners, you have to understand this so that it'll shape your systems. It'll shape your systems, and it'll shape the way you train. So what do we got? What are the goals? Why do we get those? To generate more leads. You guys are thinking outside the box. I like this. Heather's saying to generate more leads. Jason, what's up, brother? He's saying potential opportunity. Okay. What's the goal of a business? How about this? What's the goal of a business? Why do we own businesses? Make money. Okay, we got that. Awesome. Jason's right. Sales. Okay, so why do we buy buyer leads? To make sales and make money. Okay, I can agree with that. Okay. Now, where do we make money? We make money by making sales, but where do we make the most money? Over the short term or the long term? Do you make money in real estate? Do you make money over the short term or the long term? Or which one do you make more money on? Okay, the long term. Okay, so the goal of buying a lead, I'm just using this Socratic method. The goal of buying a buyer lead is to make a sale so you make money over the longest period of time. So once you sell someone a home, what is the goal? This is interesting, right? We're all agreeing we want long term because that makes us the most money. So when we buy a buyer lead, our goal is to sell them a home. And then once we sell them a home, what's our goal? When we sell someone a home, what's our goal? Get referrals. Okay, I like that. Let's think specifically with that client. To get down the road, get the sale down the road. Okay. How about this? I'll give you the answer. Once I sell someone the home, what's my goal? My goal is to list the home. No one's ever taught you this. As soon as you sell someone a home, your goal is to convince them to put it back on the market. Yeah, Jason's laughing. No one taught you this because when you sell someone a home, what do? You go out and buy another buyer lead. You go out, try to get another transaction. No, the goal is to get them to put it back on the market. Now, obviously, they're not going to put it back on the market tomorrow. They just moved in. But can I move the needle in terms of instead of 7 years or 12 years, can I get them to do 1 year or 2 years or 3 years? Absolutely. So here's the thing. Here's the reason why you buy buyer leads. You buy buyer leads because you're going to list their home in the future. That's why you do it. And in order to list them a home, I have to sell them a home. So I'm seeing past the target. You ever get agents on your team or your brokerage and they think short term because you're teaching them short term thinking. We're seeing through that through line. So the number one reason you buy buyer leads is to sell them a home that you will list in the future. Number two reason, some of the people that are already searching on your website already own homes and you're going to list it. I was asking Travis about this Easy Connect. Home valuation, home valuation sites or home valuation tools or widgets I want you to think about those things as not lead generators, but lead converters, right? Back in 2000, probably a decade ago, I was part of a website IDX company, and we developed one of the first home valuation websites where you go to your site to compete with Zestimates, right? So we would send people. We were running pay-per-click ads, digital ads, social media ads at a squeeze page where you could find out what your home's worth. And we got a lot of people to sign up to find out what their home is worth online. But those leads were really low quality because they were just curious people. They were just curious people. Think about it, right? I'm saying, hey, find out what your home's worth. I was even sending out direct mailers to homes. Go to this website, wavalues.com, wavalues.com, find out what your home's worth. We'd give them a call and they wouldn't be interested in listing their home because they just wanted to know what it said, just like Zestimates. And then I realized, what if I take that exact same website and send it to the buyer leads that I already have, the people searching for homes, because the people searching for homes have intent. They're no longer just curious. They're actually in the marketplace searching for homes to find out which buyers that I have in my database already own a home. And then go after those people first. Because if someone owns a home that is searching for a home on your website, they're not worth twice as much to you. They're worth 3 times as much to you. So why spend times going after people that don't own homes in your marketplace when you can go after people that do own the homes in your marketplace? So it's every single lead that goes through your system, you need to send them to your Easy Connect or some squeeze plays to find out if they own a home. If they fill out the form, they're telling you they own a home. It's very critical. Now, we want to win business because this is the hardest thing about this marketplace right now is there's the churn. The churn is so low. Nobody wants to sell their home right now. Well, not nobody, but low. They don't want to give up the fear of losing their interest rate or selling their home that they owe free and clear and buying a home with an interest rate is dreadful to them, right? So we have to be very, very compelling, and we have to have offers to get them to want to do it. And the offer to list your home on the market is like it's a giant canyon. It's a giant canyon that they have to leap over. To go from online to listing their home, it's a giant decision. So we have to take micro steps. We have to get them to have micro commitments. And so to do that, I'm going to share with you some principles that I use in all of my marketing and emails. I'm not going to share this. Let's go here. So once you have a database of buyer leads that you now see as future listings or buyer leads with a subsegment of them that already own homes, you're going to start treating everyone as a homeowner. The man with the hammer syndrome states that if you hold a hammer, everything is a nail. If you call a lead a buyer lead, every lead you see is a buyer. I want you to see every lead as a seller. So when I see a lead in my system and they're searching for homes, I'm not going to treat them as a buyer. I'm going to treat them as a seller. Nobody wakes up one day and imagines themselves as a goal to be a buyer. They want to be a homeowner. So start treating everyone as a homeowner, even first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers, stop calling them buyers. They're going to be first-time home owners. And so if I'm gonna add value to the buying process, I'm going to give them not buying tips. I'm going to give them home ownership tips. See, a buyer's not watching YouTube videos on how to improve their buying skills. First time home buyers are watching YouTube to find out what to do when they own a home. They're already thinking about what remodel projects they're going to do. What is sweat equity, right? What type of home do they want to own? It's all about ownership. So start educating your buyers about being a homeowner. The sooner that they see themselves as a homeowner, the sooner they're going to make it happen. You have to implant a vision of their future self for them to make a move. If you keep talking about buying homes, they're always stuck in the buying mode. I don't want to work with buyers. I want to work with homeowners. Does this make sense? It's a really subtle change in your messaging. So right now with reciprocity, you must give things out to your marketplace with no obligation to get anything back. That's reciprocity. So if I'm going to give things to if I'm going to give to the marketplace, if I'm going to give to my database, I'm going to give homeownership tips. Okay, this reciprocity says the listing agent must give first and articulate that they only want to get paid at the end under the conditions that the listing agent can perform and provide the results. Okay, what do I mean by this? You have to be the first one to articulate that you are in the profession of making homeowners. And you are also in the profession of getting homeowners that already own homes the absolute most money for the home when they decide to sell it. And if they don't decide to sell it, you are the real estate professional that will help them improve the value of their home and protect the value of their asset over the longest period of time. And out of reciprocity and goodwill, if they never list their home with you, you're at least giving goodwill to the marketplace that you serve so that other people that do want to sell, when they sell, will come to you. This is high level thinking. Our office took a listing yesterday, and the gentleman said, "Why are you taking it was only $150,000. He said, are you even interested in this listing? Are you even interested? I know you're not making a lot of money." And I told him, I'm interested in the relationship. I'm interested in the goodwill and reputation. Every deal we take doesn't have to be a massive profit. It doesn't. Sometimes I'm seeing the long-term value in this relationship with Sean. And so I'm going to take on your listing. One, because it's exciting and it's creative, but two, it's goodwill in the marketplace. And whether it's you that gives me a referral or someone else, rising tide raises all ships. So he took it on. So I'm going to give him. He actually, by taking a lower price listing, I'm actually giving him something because it's below what I normally do. So we are obligated to give back to others who have first given back to us. That's the principle. If I give to my database, give. In 2022 and 2023, I averaged 280 emails to my database. I'll say it again. I sent 280 emails to my database. Of the 280 emails, I can tell you this, 280 were about home ownership. I'll say it again. Every single email I send is about home ownership, whether that's the marketplace, market updates, macro, micro, whether it's about regulations, zoning, changes, news hacking, or if it's just owning a home. It's always about that. And so everyone in my database feels fairly obligated to give back to me. Ways to give first to a seller prior to asking for anything. If I have an appointment to see someone's house, I want to arrive at the house with a gift. So you can arrive at a grand tour at a listing. This will increase your conversion rate greatly. If you're competing, this is going to win big, right? Show up with coffee. Call them in advance. Hey, by the way, Jason, I'm on my way to your house, right? If it's a 10 o'clock appointment, I'm going to stop by Starbucks before I come over. Can I get you something, right? What do you drink? Bring them a cookie. Bring them a treat. Give them a key ring. Give them a white paper. Send them a white paper before you even come over. Hey, Jason, prior to coming over, I'm going to email you over the 7 top ways to improve the value of your home. Low cost, no cost ways to improve the value of your home. And I send it over to him. It's like paint your front door, redo your deck, right? curb appeal, whatever it is. I'm going to give something of value before I come over digitally. I might send them a market update. Hey, it's May 15th. I just got the final numbers in the market. Here's what's going in the marketplace. So I'm going to give you some advice and expertise before I even come over. I might even send some neighborhood sales. Jason, I haven't done a market analysis on your home, and I will do a market analysis, including an equity report to tell you how much your home's worth and how much you're going to walk away with if you decided to sell. But for the most part, I just wanted to send you everything. Here are the last 30 sales in your neighborhood. They're not comparable. It's just the last 30 sales. I want you to have that information. It's very valuable information. Right. So before you go to the grand tour, give them gifts. At my office, I do some things. We have customized M&Ms, right? The candies, right? And they have the N on it because I'm the Nick McLean Real Estate Group. We show up with a canister of chocolates. We find chocolate goes a long ways, right? I learned this from my daughter. If I want my daughter to do something, I give her some candy. Right. And I can do it. It actually works better to give her the candy first and then get her to do something than say, if you do something, I'll give you candy. Try it with your kids or your grandkids. Try it for me. Try it. Go, hey, if you clean your room, I'll give you a piece of candy. See how that works out. Or go, right, here's a piece of candy. Go clean your room. Try it. Let me know how it works. Now, kids are a little unpredictable, so it might not work either way. So I'm wrong either way, but I could be right. I could be right. Okay. Upgrade consultations. If I want to get into someone's door, I'm going to offer them something when I show up. That is not listing your home, right? So I'm going to offer upgrade consultations. Hey, Jason, I was curious. Do you have any projects planned for your house? Or are there any visions of doing a project on your home? That question I love because it's always yes. There's not a homeowner in the United States, in North America, that doesn't have a project either in progress or planned. Everyone does. Period. And what they need to know is they need to know whether or not that project is going to have a positive or negative return on investment. So you might as well lead with that. Hey, when can I come over to your house and I can do a quick tour and tell you what to do and what not to do to your home to improve the value of your home? When can I come over? It's not about listing. See, I'm offering something. The reason you're going to invite me into your house is because I'm offering you something of value. And upgrade consultation. Now that's going to lead to a listing presentation and a CMA and whether or not you want to put it on the market. But I want to get in the door. I was just talking with Dustin Runyon yesterday. He's in Lake Havasu. His team's going to sell 700 plus homes this year. And they offer home equity reports. I go, how many listing appointments did your team go on last month? He said, we don't go on listing appointments. We go on home equity reports. We just offer home values in person. So they get an open house. They run an open house and then they door knock the neighborhood. They door knock 40 homes in the neighborhood and just offer home valuations. Hey, we just listed a home in your neighborhood and we're going through the neighborhood offering home valuations. So would you like us to tell you what your home's worth? There's no obligation to list your home. We're just going around the neighborhood giving home equity reports because that's what we do. A lot of people will just invite you in right on the spot, or you can schedule in at a later date. And that leads me to number 3, a market analysis. A market analysis of their home, right? So you can start online, click here, get a home valuation online, easy connect. Or if you'd like an accurate report, I can come over. There's no obligation to do that. Not only will I do that, but I'll also run a net sheet so you know what it would cost to sell your home if you ever decided to. That's a home equity report. Find out how much money you have in your home savings equity account. So here's a question for you that you can use. It's a one-liner. Do you know how much money, or say it in other ways, does it make sense to know how much money you have in your savings account or your checking account at your bank? And the reason I frame it as does it make sense to know how much money you have in your checking account is because some people don't even know how much money they have. But does it make sense to continually know how much money you have in your checking and savings account? Yes, of course. Well, the same thing goes to the number one asset in your portfolio, and that's your home. You cannot rely on Zestimates. You can't rely on Redfin. You can't rely on the county assessor. You can't rely on anything other than a trained professional. And in fact, you can't even trust most trained professionals because all they want to do is list your home. I don't care when you list your home. I just want to be there when you're ready. When can I come over and tell you what your home's worth so you know how much money you have in the number one asset, how much equity you're sitting on? And you don't want to sell your home right now, but it's important to know how much equity you have so you know how to deploy and utilize that equity in your life. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe there's an unforeseen health crisis that comes up and you need to pay and extract some money on a line of credit, right? So I can offer that seller net sheet. The fifth thing on this list is I can have access to vendors. Access to vendors, right? Hey, I'm curious, when was the last time you had your carpets cleaned? Well, when was the last time you had your carpets cleaned? Did you know that, there's like 10 million microbes and bacteria and feces and hair in carpet over 1 year? In 1 year, it's going to accumulate a tremendous amount of gross things, right? So I recommend my clients get their carpets cleaned every year. And I happen to have a really good, I mean, I say, when was the last time you had it? And guess what they're asked? Do you know of one? Yes, I do. I know of 3 carpet cleaners, and they love working with me because I refer them a lot of business, and I can have them come over to your house. I'm just giving you an example of a vendor relationship. Carpet cleaners, house cleaners, window cleaners, gutter cleaners, spring landscaping cleanup, fall landscaping cleanup, blowing out your irrigation. Like, these offers are really, really important, and their reciprocity, right? We always reserve these vendor relationships for when they're ready to list their home. See, when you're telling people to go through all of these things when they want to list their home, it's a lot of hassle. I was talking to a person yesterday I was coaching somebody on listings, and they have this white glove, and I have a course called White Glove Listing, so it's kind of ironic. They have this white glove service. Every one of their listings, they do staging, professional staging. They do professional cleaning, decluttering, painting, right? Deep cleaning, landscaping. And I said, golly, that's a lot of hassle. Even though you're doing the work or you're advising them to do the work, that seems like a lot to list your home. I go, do you ever offer to list their home as is? And she's like, oh, yeah. Do you ever offer that? Some people would list their home if they knew they didn't have to clean up. You ever wonder why someone trades in their car? Why would anyone trade in their car? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you sell your car to a dealership for less money than it's worth? Knowingly, thousands of dollars less. The number one reason someone trades in their car for thousands of dollars less is because they're too lazy to clean it. And you're going to give everyone in your marketplace the best advice on the planet that they should declutter and clean their house. Nobody wants to do that, right? And you might say, well, I'll pay for it. Oh, I don't know. How about offering to sell it without them doing it? Now you're saying, oh man, that's bad reputation for me to have a listing that's ugly. Oh, really? Is the goal to sell only pretty homes, or is the goal to make money? I'm just saying you might want to have more options than the top level service. Sometimes people will pay a ton of money for convenience. Why would someone buy Uber Eats? Why would they spend $21 on a Taco Bell burrito? Convenience. Why would someone go to Disney and spend extra money to cut lines? Convenience. Right? So offer convenience. Convenience is actually an as is proposition. So would you like to know what your home's worth if you sold it as is, where is, without cleaning it, without decluttering it? Would you want to know that value? Because every other agent on the planet is going to tell you what the value is going to be if you had to do everything. I'm going to give you the value if you did everything, and I'm going to give you the value if you did nothing. This will get you indoors right now by offering people what their home's worth if they did nothing to it. They kind of want to know what the walk away is. Just make me move. Just give me a pile full of cash. Now, here's the problem is that offer is an instant offer. A lot of people in your marketplace, Open Door did this too, right? They said, hey, find out what your home's worth right now. They didn't say that. They say, find out what I would give you for this right today. It's called an instant offer. The problem with the instant offer is it triggers something in their brain, a skepticism in their brain that says, oh, that's going to be low though. That's not actually what it's worth if I didn't clean it. That's what you're willing to give me. So you can turn around and make money. What I'm saying about an as is price is what the marketplace will bear as is. It's a very different number. It works all the time. I get tons of listings by offering that. All right, so every battle is won before it's fought. Reciprocity, the easiest way to practice the principle in real estate is to give information to homeowners. It's easy, it's free, right? White papers, tips, top 3 things to improve their outcomes. Email, you can do this through email, direct mail, social media. Rejection and retreat. Concession as a gift. This is the concept that you make a large ask knowing the homeowner is unlikely to say yes. You then retreat to a smaller request that is ultimately what you want in the first place. The difference is considered a concession or gift. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. Rejection and retreat. All right, if you want to increase your conversion rate in real estate, well, let me ask you this question. Supply and demand. We're all experts on supply and demand, right? If you lower the price of something, what happens to demand? Right? Theoretically, if you ask a professor of economics, if you lower the price of something, demand goes up. Okay, great. Is that always the case for all things? No, it's not. I'll give you an example. In luxury or high ticket, if you lower the price, demand can actually go down. So let's take handbags, really luxurious handbags or artwork, right? If I lower the price of a Louis Vuitton handbag to a price of a handbag that you can get at Walmart, right? Is that going to increase my Louis Vuitton business? Maybe not. I'm going to diminish it so much it's no longer luxury. Now, something odd happens though. If I increase the cost of a Louis Vuitton bag, sometimes people want it more. They value it more, even though it may not be better quality. May or may not be. They're going to assume it is. So what I want everyone here to do is, if you want to increase your conversion rate, if you want to attract people to want to work with you, I challenge you to raise your prices. Even if raising your prices means you're just going to have to retreat back to where you are, you should do it. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm a buyer's agent and I'm working with a buyer, because we're talking about sellers. Let's just talk about buyers for a second. We've been free forever. We've been free forever. The greatest thing that ever happened was this lawsuit, because now I get to tell people that I have a certain price. Okay, here's the price. Whatever the marketplace is, let's say it's 3%. I'm going to say 4%. So, hey, Jason, yeah, for my buyer services and everything you get above and beyond, at closing, there'll be a 4% fee. Oh my gosh, really? That seems higher than everyone else. Everyone else said 3%. Oh my gosh, really? Well, I'm not like everyone else. Oh, I understand, but that seems kind of high. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I do. Because I honor and respect our relationship and I do want to work with you, I'm willing to make a concession. I'm willing to make a concession, and I will do 3%. And that 1%, here's the scripting. That 1% is a gift from me to you. If you buy a $500,000 house, that 1% represents $5,000. I'm willing to give you $5,000. Now, on the listing side, let's say you go from 7% commission to 6% per commission. Hey, they're like, hey, Nick, what do you charge? And I say, we're 7% commission. Oh my gosh, holy cow. Everyone else said they would do it for 5%. Well, is it negotiable? I go, I'm willing to entertain, right? I'm willing to make a deal. I'm willing to make a concession. Okay, what would you be willing to do? I'm willing to do 6% for honor and for the honor of and privilege of working for you and serving you at the highest level. And that 1% is a concession as a gift, and it's a gift from me to you. So your home is $800,000. That 1% is an $8,000 gift that I'm giving to you. I want you to change that verbiage because what we do is we give them that discount for free, for nothing. No, that's a gift. You gifted them the money. And what are you going to get back in return? Goodwill, reputation, referrals, longevity, right? It's not free. It's always a gift. Okay. And then I could, if I really wanted to do that, when I give them a gift, I could ask something in return, right? Can I count on you to give me names of 3 people that could utilize the same home selling system I'm providing you? Right. And so, I'm absolutely, I can gift you 1%. I can gift you 1%. That's $8,000. And here's why I'm going to do it, because I know someone like you with your stature, with your network, with your friends, and with your family, there's going to be somebody over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years that are going to also need my services. And I want to work with more people like you. So can I count on you to give me 3 names over the next 5 years that want to sell their home for this gift, right? That's the scripting. And you can use, pick your spots there, but you need to be very authentic with that and transparent in the reason why you're giving them $8,000. Just don't do it because the marketplace says it. I'm not going down because someone else told you something. Anyone could say anything. You could probably get an agent to do this for $300. That's not the point. The point is you want to work with me and I want to work with you, and I'm willing to give you a gift to do it because I know over the course of our career and over the course of my career and over the course of your lifetime, it's gonna shake itself out, right? Authority. People listen to experts in their field. People listen to nothing told us more about this than COVID. Trust the experts. Trust the experts. We want to identify and label and actually demonstrate we are experts in the field without bragging. So how many homes have you sold in the neighborhood, in the town, in the city over the course of the last 30, 60, 90-year career? How have you been recognized in the marketplace? And if you haven't been recognized, you need to go out and get these tiddlywink awards. The best of Seattle, top 500 in the nation, whatever it is, you need to do it. Not to brag and not to impress, just to impress upon them that you are an expert in the field. And when you do this, I want you to always compare yourself to the average. The average agent, right, sells 4 homes a year. We sell 40 homes a year. That's 10 times the average, right? Who recognizes you? What organizations recognize your services, right? Do you have any credentials, diplomas, awards that they can see? As a team leader in brokerage, you should be giving out awards so that your team could say something like that, right? I was awarded Rookie of the Year as part of my team last year. I'm the rising star. I'm in the top 3 in the organization. That's why we have leaderboards. They should brag about their leaderboards. I'm number 2 on the leaderboard. I have 51 reviews. You can establish authority casually. Have you worked with anyone of influence in the marketplace? Barbara Corcoran tells a story about her career, and one of her shining, like not shining moments, but like an inflection point in her career was she sold a condo to Richard Gere. If you remember Richard Gere, Greer, right? I think it's Gere, right? Pretty Woman. You guys remember the show Pretty Woman? Sold a condo to him, or sold his condo. I don't remember what it was. That was like huge. She would tell every celebrity, every person of influence, every person of stature that who she's worked with. So in my local community, I know I've worked with certain people. I've worked with the sheriff. I've worked with the county commissioners. I worked with the mayor, right? I worked with prominent business owners, right? With confidentiality intact and with discretion, I'm going to let people know of other people of good reputation that I've worked with in the community, right? And maybe I haven't worked with them in terms of actually closing their sale, but maybe I've met with them. Maybe they know who I am. So, who are the top 50 influential people in your community? You should know them and they should know of you because then you can name drop them, right? I'll give you an example. In Washington State, we have property taxes. And because we have property taxes, the assessor does assessments. The county assessor puts a property value on your home, right? This is someone of authority that's going around telling everyone what their home's worth. Well, guess what? I noticed he's on my website. I noticed he once registered on my website. It's an amazing thing because I go to a listing and I say, it's really, really, I think it was really interesting that, the person, the county assessor who does the property values, they actually use my website to search for homes. Authority. They use my website to search for homes. They're not using Zillow. They're not going to Zestimates. They go to me. They come to me when they want to know what's going on in the marketplace, right? So I'll give you some more examples. I used to do a market update. It was called the report. It's called the McLean report. The McLean report. So every month I would write a report on what I was seeing in inventory, sales, pendings, XYZ, and I would send it to all the news stations. I would send it to the newspapers. I would send it to the business journals. I would send it to the public radio. I would send it to all the marketing agencies. And they would actually quote me in articles. The local news media is begging for content and you should give it. You could probably get on AM radio if you just said, hey, if you ever want an expert to talk about the marketplace, I'd be happy to give you a quote. I'd be happy to be on your radio show. Right. And then you can say, hey, I am a correspondent or an advisor to KPQ AM, the local newspaper. I talk to these people, right? And I put it in here like, have you ever seen influential people say, as seen on MSN, as seen on Wall Street Journal, Google, Yahoo? You can do that locally because everyone has a little newspaper. Everyone has a little journalist. Everyone's looking for content. And these journalism people, a lot of people are just coming right out of college. They're begging for people to tell them stuff. Liking principle, find similarities. We like people that like us. We like people that like us. Um, we like people that are like us, but we really like people that like us. So I'm going to find similarities in the people I'm talking to, whether I'm touring their home or on the phone with them. Now, this isn't necessarily an offer, but this helps your conversion rate massively. One of my top agents on my team, I couldn't understand it. She would sell 36 homes a year like clockwork. Same amount of leads as everyone else. She didn't really know real estate better than anyone else on my team, but she would often sell 30, probably double what the average agent would do on my team. And so I started listening to her on the phone and I started observing her at listing presentations and buyer presentations. And there was just a subtle difference. She would use the same scripts, but instead of saying, Mr. or Mrs. or pronouns or salutation, whatever it is, she would say friend. She would say friend. She would say, hi, friend, bye, friend, okay, friend. She called everyone friends. And that subtle difference, for some reason, had an influence on these people. They absolutely loved her. Absolutely love her. So if they're a runner, you're a runner. Or if you're not a runner, you know someone that's a runner. If they're a runner and you're not a runner, you have a client that's a runner. If they like to travel, you like to travel. Or someone likes to travel. Or you've always wanted to know how to travel. Or you have other clients that are travelers. I was talking to a gentleman on the phone last night and he was riding his bike. He was 75 years old and rides his bike. And I said to him, we have other clients that ride their bikes all the time too. And I was just using the liking principle a lot. And by the end of the conversation, he really opened up and he was just like, it sounds like we get along a lot. It sounds like we're like the same people. Okay. Yeah. And I told you this story. She would call her leads her call her leads and clients friends. It was just an absolutely dynamite thing, and it's something you wouldn't think would make a big difference, but it makes a huge difference. Success story, popularity. People want to work with the most popular. So when you go to a restaurant, and you're looking at a menu, you kind of want to know what to buy or what to order because you've never been there before. And so what most people will do, they don't ask for what's the best necessarily. And even if they do, the waiter or waitress will tell them what the most popular one is. Here's the most popular. People want popularity. When you go to Amazon, Amazon will tell you, not only, this is an item, but also here's the most popular item, most purchased. So on Amazon, it says most purchased. Very, very powerful. I fall for it all the time because if someone else did it, I probably should do it too. It's a rule of thumb. So who's the most popular? It's a popularity contest. Popularity contest will be based on how many sales you've had, who's used you. So recently in our property management company, I own multiple companies, a property management company, an investment company, a real estate company, and I'm a co-founder of Reside. And what I found is in the property management world, if I'm getting clients from another property management company, say someone calls me and they're saying, we're currently at a property management company, but we're thinking about switching management companies. I would say, awesome. We're getting a lot of calls. And we've had a lot of people recently transfer over to us. It's right. Other people are doing it. And not only that, what I've noticed is the people that are coming over to us, they're interviewing everybody and choosing us. Just yesterday, Brandon interviewed all the property management companies and chose us above and beyond everyone else. So what I've done subtly is I've told them, why waste your time interviewing someone already did? So if I'm going to a listing and I don't want to compete, I would say something like, I was competing for a listing last week, and that person interviewed 5 of the top real estate brokerages in town. And you know what? They chose us. They chose us. Right? Don't be scared of that. You're not actually telling them to go interview more than one agency. You're not like planting that seed. You're actually planting a seed saying, why waste your time? Someone's already done the work for you. You're very, very popular. Okay. Reviews do that. Reviews do that. And don't let the reviews be seen organically. You need to be directing them to the reviews prior to the meeting. Send them a link to the review, right? Have a flyer. We have a flyer that says 5-star reviews on it, and we give everyone we meet, we give them buyers and sellers. By the way, Jason, here's a sampling of our 5-star reviews. This is not what we say about ourselves. This is what other people are saying about ourselves, about us, right? And so we deliver that flyer to them. That makes them want to do it. That makes them want to work with you. That actually makes them want to even do it. Like I might not be interested in even eating at a Mexican restaurant, but if I hear about a Mexican restaurant that gets 5-star reviews and I've never been there before, I'm curious. I want to know. So I might not even be thinking about selling my house. But if I hear about an agency that's selling homes at the highest level for the most money and they get the best reviews, I'm curious. I want to know. Right? So be proactive about these reviews. Yeah, 4-star reviews are pretty good, actually. Scarcity. People value what is scarce. Louis Vuitton, limited run Corvettes require you get on a waiting list. And so I think this is something worth mentioning that everyone here has a capacity, but we don't really know what it is or if we haven't articulated it. So, how many listings can you take in the next 7 days? You right now, You might not have the demand to even want to say it, but I think you should always have it. For instance, I have a professional photographer. If I'm if I'm working with my professional photographer, I might ask him, "Hey Kevin, how many openings do you have? Like say my photographer is busy. How many openings do you have in the next 14 days for photo shoots?" And he might say, "I don't know, I'm pretty booked out." Well, how many could you squeeze in? I can maybe squeeze in 3. All right, that's my limiting factor, right? So that's the scarcity. So if I'm going to someone's house, I could tell them, "Hey, I don't know when you're thinking about selling your home. I just want to let you know. I talked to my photographer before I came over, and we only have 3 openings over the next 14 days. We only have 3 openings in the next 14 days. Do you think you could be prepared by then? Is that something I should reserve for you? Should I put you on that list, a waiting list? You could always cancel. So you always want some level of scarcity. I can only take on so many people per month, right? I have so many openings. As a buyer's agent, your buyer's agent should know if they were willing, if they can take on another person or not. I'm taking on 5 new buyers this month, right? I got 2, and then it can be a countdown timer, right? Everyone they sign up. I signed up someone yesterday, I have 4 more spots. I signed up someone yesterday, got 3 more spots. I signed up someone yesterday, got 2 more spots. And every month, as they sell homes, after they buy homes, you release a new opportunity to people. Everyone does it, right? Events, countdown timer. There's only 200 seats. We've sold 10% of the seats, 50% of the seats, 80% of the seats, 90% of the seats. Why do we not say how many people we're willing to work with? Why are we willing to work with everybody? We can't. If everyone said yes at once, we couldn't do it. So what is that? What is that level? What is that number that you can provide the absolute best service for? And be on it. Be on it. The reason people want to work with me, even though I don't sell homes on my team, is because they know I'm scarce. They know I don't take on people. They know I don't take on clients, right? So there's a limited supply. My attention is limited. That's why people want to work with the busiest person, right? They don't want to work with the agent that's like, anytime, whenever you need me, call me anytime. I'm always available. Oh, you're always available? Oh my gosh. Nobody wants you. Think about it. When you tell someone you're always available, you're telling them that you aren't in demand, right? I say, good luck getting a hold of me. Good luck. Here's my personal cell phone. If I don't answer, try again later. Keep trying. Keep trying. I'm just telling you. I say it in a nice way. They're like, I understand, Nick. I understand, Nick. I understand, Nick. But it's true because I'm walking the walk, though. I'm not disingenuous in this. I am super in demand for a reason, right? Because I value results above all things. I value results above all things. The reason why I'm in demand is because I deliver. And that's a message you want to give people, right? Why do people work with you? Why have they worked with you? Because you've delivered results. Real estate, we only get paid because of results. Therefore, the only reason I work with people is to get a result. And people love that. They absolutely love that. It's not, oh, I want to be there for you and have a beautiful journey along the way and build a relationship with you and become friends and no, no. The relationship is based on results. And that's okay. It's a beautiful thing. People love me for it, right? Am I perfect? No. Okay, scarcity. 3D tours. How many 3D tours can you do every month? Right? You're making an offer to your database. Hey, I have 21 3D tours that I can give out this week. 21's a little much. Anything under 10 is good. By the way, rule of thumb, under 10, under 5. I'm a coach. I coach people. Guess what? I only have 5 slots. I only have 3 slots, right? Okay. Commitment and consistency. Um, I'll give you a tactical way of saying this. If someone says something, it's hard for them to change what they said. Let me say it in another way. People don't want to go back on their word, even when they find out they're wrong, right? It's really tough to do. It's really hard to admit when you're wrong. And like when someone says something like, we're never going to sell your house. Okay, that's a tough one to overcome, right? Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to elicit someone to say something, and it's not going to be 100%, and you can call them a liar, but I'm going to say something along the lines of this. Say I tour your house, and maybe I tour your house, or maybe I don't tour your house. When the timing is right and you do decide to list your house, do you see yourself listing that home with me? If you ever go to buy a home, right? Are you going to call me to help you purchase that home? You gotta ask somebody. If they say yes, you're yeah, okay, great. A commitment. Can I get a commitment? I know you're not ready right now. How many listing appointments do you go on where they're like, nah, we decided to hold off. We decided to stay. We're not, we don't, we're unsure. No problem. You're unsure. When you do, when you do make that commitment to sell your house, are you going to go with me? Right. Okay. It's huge. And you might not get it, but you have a better chance of doing it. All right. A lot of the principles that I talked about today and much more can be found in my book. And Travis mentioned that book. And if there's anything, if you got any value out of this, you can find my book, $1 Million Agent, on Amazon. Just search for it. Gary Keller's book might come up number one, but I'm number two. I'm right on his heels. I'm right on his heels. He's scared. He called me the other day and said, Nick, you got to stop. You got to stop with this blue book because that red book is number one for a reason. And I don't want people thinking the blue book's better than my book because I haven't updated it since 1999 and you wrote your book 3 years ago. So I'm a little worried. Okay, yeah. He didn't actually say that, but he could have. He could have said that. So if you want to get that book, please get it. Travis, my friend, I'm all done. I'm tapped out. So
Nick, we appreciate you, man. Great training. Lots, like I said in the beginning, I've never heard you speak and not coming away with some new stuff in my toolbox. Even doing what I do on the business to business side nowadays, I've definitely added some stuff to mine. So appreciate it. As Nick mentioned, we have a home value tool built into our Easy Connect platform. I'm dropping a link if you're curious about learning more about that. It's at partnerwithease.com. I'll put that link in the chat, but partnerwithease.com. Guys, appreciate everybody coming to Winning Wednesday. We are going to post a recording of this in our Facebook group page. You can find all of that here. Nick, thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
yeah, I definitely would get that partner with Easy for sure to convert those leads into more listings. So thanks everybody. I'll see you guys around.